Ethan had always dreamed of seeing the stars up close. Since he was a child, he liked to look up at the night sky and imagine what it would be like to live among other worlds. When he grew up, he worked hard and became a technician for the Space Alliance. His job was not as exciting as he once thought. Most of his days were spent fixing machines and checking wires on a quiet outpost far away from Earth. Life on the station was simple and lonely, but Ethan did not complain. He liked the peace, and he liked feeling useful. One day, Ethan woke up to a loud alarm in the middle of the night. His small room flashed with red lights, and the computer voice told everyone to get ready for something big. Ethan quickly put on his uniform and ran to the main deck. The other workers looked just as confused as he was. They waited, not knowing what was happening. Then, a message appeared on the screen. It was from Central Command. An alien flagship was arriving near Earth, and everyone needed to be ready. The flagship was huge, with bright lights and a design like nothing humans had seen before. It moved, slowly and carefully, not showing any signs of attack. People all over the station watched in silence. The flagship sent a signal. They wanted to speak with someone who could fix a special device on their ship. Central Command chose Ethan for the job. Ethan was nervous but excited. He had never been on an alien ship before, and he did not know what to expect. 2 guards came to take him to the landing bay. They handed him a small repair kit and told him to be careful. A shuttle from the alien ship arrived, and Ethan stepped inside. The shuttle was clean and quiet, with soft lights on the walls. The seats were made for someone taller than a human, but Ethan did his best to fit in. The shuttle took off and moved smoothly toward the massive alien flagship. As Ethan looked out the window, he saw the ship up close. It was covered in shining metal and moving parts. He wondered who built something so beautiful. The shuttle entered a large docking bay. Alien workers waited there, wearing uniforms with silver and blue designs. They looked at Ethan with interest but did not speak. One of them pointed down a long hallway, and Ethan followed. The hallway was wide and bright, with smooth floors and strange glowing signs. It felt both strange and welcoming at the same time. At the end of the hallway, a door opened, and Ethan stepped into a grand room. The walls sparkled with light, and the air smelled sweet like flowers. In the middle of the room, a tall figure stood waiting. Queen Valari looked nothing like a human. Her skin was pale blue, and her eyes were large and bright like gemstones. She wore a long robe with gold patterns, and her hair floated around her head like a cloud. She moved with grace and confidence. Ethan stopped and bowed his head, unsure of what to do. The queen smiled at him, her expression kind. "Welcome, Ethan," she said in a soft voice. "Thank you for coming." "We need your help." Ethan tried not to stare. He had never seen anyone so different before, but something about the queen made him feel calm. He nodded and said he would do his best. The queen led him to a small room filled with machines and blinking lights. She explained that their communication device was broken, and they could not contact their homeworld. Without it, they felt lost in space. Ethan listened carefully and began to work. He opened panels, checked wires, and looked for the problem. The machines were more advanced than anything he had seen before, but he used his skills and stayed calm. As he worked, the queen watched him. She asked questions about Earth and about human life. Ethan answered as best as he could, telling her about his family, his work, and what humans like to do for fun. The queen listened with interest, sometimes laughing at Ethan's simple stories. Time passed quickly. Soon Ethan found the problem. A wire had burned out deep inside the device. He carefully fixed it and turned the machine back on. Lights blinked, and a soft sound filled the room. The device was working again. Suddenly, a loud alarm started ringing. The lights in the room flashed, and the machines made strange noises. Ethan turned around and saw a small spark jump from one of the panels. The queen stood too close to the broken machine. Without thinking, Ethan rushed forward and pulled her away just as the machine gave off a strong burst of energy. The force knocked them both to the floor, but Ethan managed to keep the queen safe. The guards ran into the room, looking shocked. The queen was not hurt, only surprised, The Queen stood up and thanked Ethan. She said he had saved her life. The guards checked the room and made sure everything was safe. The machine was fine now, and the danger was over. The Queen looked at Ethan with new respect. She told the guards to let him rest and to bring him something to eat. Ethan was tired, but he was glad he had helped. Later, Queen Valari invited Ethan to a private meal in her quarters. The food was strange but tasty, with bright colors and new flavors. The Queen asked more questions about Earth, and Ethan told her stories about rain, music, and animals. The Queen smiled and said she wished she could see these things one day. Ethan asked about her world, and she told him about her home, with its tall crystal towers and wide rivers. Her people loved art, music, and peace. She said that most humans and aliens were afraid of each other, but she believed that people could learn to be friends. As the evening went on, Ethan felt less nervous. He started to see the Queen not just as a ruler, but as a person. She liked simple jokes and was curious about everything. The Queen thanked Ethan again for saving her life. She said that he was welcome to stay on the ship for a few days so he could rest and see more of their world. Ethan agreed, thinking it would be a good chance to learn. Central Command on Earth heard about what happened and agreed that Ethan should stay. They saw it as a way to build trust with the aliens. The other humans on the outpost were excited for Ethan, but also a little jealous. They joked that he would come back with wild stories. Ethan promised he would share everything he saw. Over the next few days, Ethan walked through the halls of the alien flagship. He saw strange art on the walls and heard music unlike anything on Earth. The alien crew watched him with interest, but no one was rude or unkind. Sometimes the Queen would join him and show him special rooms, like the garden with floating flowers or the library filled with glowing books. Ethan felt like he was in a dream. One day, the Queen asked Ethan to join her at a special meeting. The leaders of the ship wanted to thank him for his help. Ethan stood in front of a large group of aliens, feeling nervous. The Queen spoke to them in her own language, and then in English so Ethan could understand. She told everyone how Ethan had fixed the device and saved her life. The aliens clapped and made a soft, happy sound. The Queen looked at Ethan and said she hoped this would be the start of true friendship between their people. After the meeting, the Queen gave Ethan a small gift. It was a stone that glowed with a soft blue light. She said it was a symbol of trust. Ethan thanked her, feeling proud and a little embarrassed. The Queen smiled and said she wanted to learn more about Earth. She asked if Ethan would teach her. Ethan said yes, and together they planned to share more about their worlds. Ethan spent the next day showing the Queen simple things from Earth. He made her try coffee, which she found strange but funny. He showed her pictures of his family and taught her simple games. The Queen laughed and told Ethan about her favorite food, which tasted like sweet fruit. They spent hours talking, sometimes forgetting about the time. The Queen said she liked talking with Ethan because he was honest and kind. The alien crew started to notice how close the Queen and Ethan had become. Some whispered and watched, but no one said anything. The Queen did not seem to care what others thought. She enjoyed learning and laughed more when Ethan was around. Ethan felt happy and welcome. He knew he would never forget these days. One night, Ethan stood by a window looking out at the stars. The Queen joined him, silent for a while. She said that space could feel lonely, even for a queen. Ethan agreed and said it was the same for people on Earth. The Queen smiled and said maybe they were not so different after all. Ethan looked at her and realized that, for the first time in a long while, he did not feel lonely. He did not know what the future would bring, but he felt sure that his life was about to change forever. Ethan woke up in his new room on the alien flagship. The bed was softer than any bed he had ever slept on, and the walls changed colors with the sunlight that came from hidden lights above. At first, he did not know where he was, but then he remembered. He was a guest on Queen Valari's ship, floating in space far from Earth. He sat up and looked around. There was a table with fruit and a glass of cold water waiting for him. Someone had thought of everything he might need. After eating, Ethan put on the clean clothes the Queen's staff had left for him. The fabric felt smooth and light, and the color was a calm shade of blue. When he stepped out into the hallway, a young alien woman greeted him with a friendly smile. She spoke in simple English and told him the Queen wanted to see him. Ethan followed her down the long, bright hallway. He tried not to stare at all the new things he saw. There were paintings on the walls that showed strange animals and tall cities with lights that danced in the sky. He could hear soft music coming from hidden speakers. The ship felt alive, like it was made to bring people together. When Ethan reached the Queen's private garden, he stopped in wonder. The garden was large and full of flowers that floated in the air. Small glowing insects flew between the petals, and there were soft places to sit. Queen Valari waited by a pool of water. She wore a simple dress, and her hair looked even softer in the morning light. "Good morning, Ethan," she said kindly. "I hope you slept well. I wanted to show you my favorite place on the ship." Ethan thanked her and said it was the most beautiful garden he had ever seen. The Queen smiled and showed him some of the flowers. She told him their names and let him touch the soft petals. Some flowers changed color when he touched them. The Queen laughed when Ethan jumped back in surprise. They walked together around the garden. Queen Valari asked Ethan about gardens on Earth. He told her about the small garden his mother kept at home, with red roses and green beans. He tried to explain what rain felt like, and what it was like to watch a garden grow over time. The Queen listened carefully, asking simple questions about the world he missed. As they talked, more aliens came to see the Queen. Some were tall with bright eyes, others small with shining skin. All bowed to the Queen and nodded to Ethan. The Queen introduced Ethan to each of them, and she made sure everyone treated him with respect. Ethan felt shy but tried to smile at everyone. After some time in the garden, the Queen asked Ethan if he would like to see more of the ship. He agreed, eager to learn. They walked down wide halls and rode on a moving platform that took them quickly to different parts of the ship. The Queen showed Ethan the main control room. It was full of large screens and quiet workers. Everything was neat and smooth. One worker gave Ethan a headset so he could understand the alien language. With the headset, he could listen and speak to the crew more easily. Ethan was amazed at how well everyone worked together. The Queen explained how her people believed in working for the good of all. She said they did not fight for power but tried to help each other. Ethan asked if her world had ever gone to war. The Queen looked sad and said that a long time ago, her people had fought many battles, but they learned that peace was better for everyone. Next, the Queen showed Ethan the art gallery. There were sculptures that seemed to float in the air and paintings that changed when you moved. One painting showed a bright city under two suns. Another showed a group of aliens dancing in a circle. Ethan said the art was beautiful, and the Queen told him that art was important to her people. They used art to remember their history and show their dreams for the future. Ethan asked the Queen about her life. She told him she had been queen since she was young. Her father had taught her to care for her people. She did not have a family of her own, but she felt close to her crew. Ethan told her about his family on Earth, and the Queen listened to every word. She said she hoped to meet them one day. Later, there was a formal event planned in the main hall. The Queen asked Ethan to join her as a guest of honor. He felt nervous and worried about making a mistake. The Queen smiled and told him to be himself. She said that her people respected honesty and kindness more than fancy words. Ethan tried to believe her. When they entered the main hall, Ethan was surprised by how many aliens had come to see him. The hall was full of music and soft lights. The Queen introduced Ethan to the crowd in their language, then in English. She told them how he had helped their ship and saved her life. The crowd clapped and bowed. Ethan stood next to the Queen, trying to look calm. One by one, aliens came to greet him. Some gave him small gifts like shiny stones or sweet fruit. Others asked him about Earth. Ethan answered their questions as best as he could. He talked about snow, about dogs and cats, and about simple things like baseball. The aliens listened with wide eyes. They seemed to like his stories. After the event, the Queen and Ethan sat together and talked. The Queen told Ethan she was proud of how he handled himself. She said the other leaders would now trust him more. Ethan felt better and thanked her. He said he wanted to learn more about her people. Over the next few days, Ethan and Queen Valari spent more time together. She taught him how to read some of their language, and he taught her to write her name in English. They watched movies from both worlds. Some were funny, others made them both cry. The Queen liked Earth music, and Ethan laughed when she tried to sing along. Sometimes they would eat together in the Queen's quarters. The Queen liked to try Earth food, though some of it tasted strange to her. Ethan tried alien dishes too. Some were sweet and soft, others had a sharp taste that made him cough. They laughed about the things they liked and didn't like. Eating together made them feel like old friends. Word began to spread through the ship about how close the Queen and Ethan were. Some crew members whispered when they walked by, but most were friendly. The Queen did not seem to care about gossip. She said she liked learning from Ethan and did not want to hide her friendship. One evening, the Queen invited Ethan to see the stars from the highest point of the ship. There was a clear dome, and they could see the universe all around them. They sat together in silence, watching planets and bright stars move by. The Queen said she liked to come there when she needed to think. She asked Ethan what he dreamed about. He told her he wanted to make a difference and see new worlds. The Queen said she understood that feeling. She told Ethan she often felt lonely, even though she was surrounded by people. Ethan said he felt the same way. They both laughed at how much they had in common. On the next day, Ethan taught the Queen to play a simple Earth game with cards. She had trouble at first, but soon she was laughing and winning. The Queen's advisors came to check on her, and they were surprised to see their Queen having so much fun. They watched for a while, then left with smiles on their faces. The Queen told Ethan she was glad he came to her ship. She said she was learning more than she ever expected. As the days went by, Ethan realized that he cared about the Queen as more than just a friend. He was not sure if she felt the same way, but he liked being close to her. Sometimes they would walk together in the quiet halls at night, talking about their hopes and fears. The Queen told Ethan about her dreams for peace between their people. She said she wanted her people to trust humans and work together for a better future. Ethan promised to help her however he could. One night, the Queen asked Ethan if he missed his home. He said yes, but he was happy to be with her and her people. The Queen said she hoped he would stay longer. She said she needed someone she could trust, someone who saw her as more than just a ruler. Ethan was touched by her words. Rumors started to grow on both the alien ship and among humans on the outpost. People wondered if the Queen was falling in love with the human technician. Some were happy, hoping it would mean better relations. Others were worried, thinking it would cause problems. Ethan tried not to think about the rumors, but sometimes he wondered what his friends on Earth would say. Still, Ethan and Queen Valari did not let the rumors change their time together. They learned from each other every day. They faced small challenges, like when a machine broke and Ethan had to teach the aliens how to fix it using simple Earth tools. The Queen helped Ethan learn new words and made sure he never felt alone. By the end of the week, Ethan knew that his life would never be the same. He had a new friend, maybe something more, and a new home among the stars. The Queen felt the same way. She told Ethan she was glad he came into her life. Together they looked out at the stars, wondering what adventures would come next. Ethan's life on the alien flagship became a mix of wonder and comfort. Every day brought something new to learn or see. He worked with the crew on small repairs and showed them how humans solved simple problems. He learned more words in their language, and the crew began to trust him even more. He also spent many hours with Queen Valari, sharing stories and laughing about the little things that made their worlds so different. One day, as Ethan walked down a quiet hallway, he noticed the ship felt tense. The usual smiles were gone. Aliens spoke in low voices and moved quickly. Ethan wondered what was wrong. He found Queen Valari in the command room, talking with her top advisors. The screens showed strange signals from a nearby sector of space. The Queen looked worried, but she tried to hide it when she saw Ethan. She called Ethan over and explained that a rival alien faction had sent a threatening message. They did not like humans or the idea of peace between humans and Valari's people. The message warned that the Queen was in danger. The Queen's advisors suggested she stay hidden until they knew more. Queen Valari shook her head. She said she would not run away or show fear, but she promised to be careful. Ethan felt concerned for her safety. He wanted to help. The Queen said she trusted him and asked him to stay close for a while. She said his ideas and calm mind often helped her see things more clearly. Ethan agreed and said he would do whatever she needed. The next day, the ship's alarms rang out. There was trouble near the engine room. Ethan and the Queen hurried there with the guards. Smoke filled the hall and workers shouted in fear. A small group of masked aliens tried to break into the engine controls. The guards fought them off, but one of the attackers aimed a strange weapon at the Queen. Without thinking, Ethan pulled the Queen behind a wall and tried to protect her. A blast hit the wall where the Queen had been standing. The guards quickly stopped the attackers. The Queen was not hurt, but she was shaken. She thanked Ethan for saving her again. The crew looked at Ethan with new respect. They saw that he cared about the Queen and was brave, even in danger. The attackers were taken away and the ship returned to normal, but the memory of the attack stayed with everyone. After the attack, Queen Valari and Ethan were moved to a safe room deep inside the ship. Only trusted guards and advisors knew where they were. The safe room was quiet, with soft lights and comfortable seats. The Queen looked tired but tried to smile. She said she was glad Ethan was there. Ethan tried to keep her spirits up by telling jokes and talking about silly things from Earth. They spent days in the safe room waiting for news. They played simple games and told stories. Sometimes they just sat together in silence, feeling the ship hum around them. One night, the Queen told Ethan about her childhood. She said she never felt truly safe, even as a child. Her father had been a kind king, but he was always busy with work. Valari said she wanted to do better for her own people. Ethan shared his own fears. He said he often felt alone before coming to the alien ship. He was worried he would never find a real purpose. The Queen told him that he had already changed her life and helped her people. She said he had nothing to be afraid of anymore. The more time they spent together, the more they trusted each other. Ethan realized that his feelings for Valari had grown deeper. He saw that she cared for him too. They were not just friends now. Something gentle and strong had grown between them. They both knew there were many problems to solve, but when they were together, the worries seemed smaller. Finally, the guards came with good news. The danger had passed. The rival faction had been caught, and it was safe to leave the safe room. Queen Valari stood tall and calm as she thanked her guards and advisors. She said she wanted to speak to her people and show them that she was not afraid. Queen Valari called a meeting with the main leaders and advisors on the ship. She also invited Ethan. In the meeting, she told everyone what happened and thanked Ethan for saving her life again. She spoke about the importance of trust and unity. She said that fear would not control them. The leaders listened and agreed with her. Many now saw Ethan as more than a guest. He was a true friend to the Queen. And to their people, after the meeting, Queen Valari and Ethan took a quiet walk in the garden. Valari said she had never trusted anyone the way she trusted Ethan. She said she wanted to show him something special. They walked to a small pool at the far end of the garden. The water sparkled with light. Valari touched the water, and a soft song began to play from hidden speakers. She told Ethan that in her world, sharing this song was a sign of true friendship. Only people she trusted could hear it. Ethan listened as the gentle music filled the air. He said it was beautiful. Valari looked at Ethan and said she wanted him to stay with her, not just as a friend, but as someone special. Ethan was surprised, but happy. He told Valari that he felt the same way. He said he had never met anyone like her. He said that no matter what happened next, he wanted to be by her side. Valari smiled and took his hand. For a moment, all the troubles in the universe seemed far away. Word spread quickly on the ship about Ethan and the Queen. Some people were surprised, and some were happy. Others worried about what it might mean for the future. Valari did not care about rumors. She stood tall and walked proudly with Ethan beside her. As the days went by, Ethan and Valari spent more time together. They talked about their hopes and fears. Valari asked Ethan about the things he missed most from Earth. Ethan told her about simple things: walking in the rain, drinking hot chocolate, and watching movies with friends. Valari said she wanted to try all those things one day. They worked together to make small changes on the ship. Ethan suggested new ways to keep the ship safe. Valari showed him how her people solved problems with peace, not fighting. They both learned a lot from each other. One evening, Valari's advisors brought news from Earth, the humans on Ethan's outpost wanted to speak to the Queen. They sent a message asking for more talks and maybe a visit. Valari was happy. She said it was a sign that people on both sides were ready for peace. Ethan felt proud. He knew he had helped bring their worlds closer. He told Valari he wanted to keep working for peace no matter what it took. Valari said she was glad to have him by her side, but not everyone was happy. Some on the ship still did not trust humans. Others on Earth thought the Queen was dangerous. Ethan and Valari knew there would be more challenges, but they faced them. Together, they promised to stand by each other, even when things were hard. One night, as they watched the stars through the clear dome, Valari told Ethan that she believed love was stronger than fear. Ethan agreed. He said that together they could show both worlds that people did not have to be afraid of what was different. As the ship moved through space, Ethan knew his life had changed forever. He was no longer alone. He had found a friend, and something more in the most unexpected place. And with Queen Valari by his side, he was ready for whatever adventures came next. Queen Valari woke early, feeling hopeful but also worried about the day ahead. She knew that what she planned to do would change everything for her people, for Ethan, and for herself. She looked out the window at the stars, her mind full of thoughts. Ethan, who had slept lightly, soon joined her by the window. They stood together in silence for a moment. Ethan gently asked if she was ready. The Queen said she had never been more ready and that she trusted him completely. The ship's main hall was prepared for a special meeting. Leaders, advisors, and many from the crew gathered in quiet groups. The room felt tense. Most people knew something important was about to happen, but they did not know what. Queen Valari wore a simple but elegant robe. Ethan stood by her side, his face calm but his heart beating fast. When the meeting started, Queen Valari stepped forward and spoke in her people's language, then in English so Ethan could understand. She told the story of what had happened on the ship, the danger, the attack, and how Ethan had risked his life for her. She said she wanted to show everyone that she trusted Ethan, not only as a friend, but as something more. She told the leaders and crew that she had chosen Ethan as her partner. There was a long silence. Some people looked surprised or confused. Others started to whisper. A few smiled. The Queen continued. She said that her choice did not mean forgetting the past, but building a new future together. She hoped that by choosing Ethan, they could start a time of peace and understanding between their worlds. Ethan listened, amazed and nervous. He knew this moment was bigger than anything he had known before. The Queen reached for his hand and he took it. The crowd watched. Some people cheered softly. Others looked away. The Queen thanked Ethan for his courage and kindness. She said she wanted everyone to know he was welcome and respected on the ship. After the announcement, the Queen and Ethan sat with the advisors. Some of them had questions. They wanted to know what the Queen's choice would mean for the future. The Queen answered honestly. She said she knew there would be problems, but she believed her people were strong enough to face them. Ethan said he wanted to learn and help in any way he could. He promised to respect the Queen's world and do his best to bring peace. News of the Queen's announcement traveled quickly. Soon, humans on Ethan's outpost and leaders on Earth knew about it. The reactions were mixed. Some people were excited and thought it was a good step. Others were afraid or angry. Some leaders sent messages of support, while others sent warnings. Ethan's friends sent him simple messages, saying they hoped he was happy. A few joked that he was now famous. Ethan felt the pressure, but he tried to stay calm. The Queen always reminded him that they had each other. The next days were not easy. Some crew members avoided Ethan. Others wanted to talk to him and asked about Earth. A small group started to watch everything he did, worried about what changes might come. The Queen saw all of this but did not let it stop her. She asked Ethan to join her every day at meals, meetings, and walks through the ship. They worked together to solve small problems and help people get used to the idea of their new partnership. The Queen and Ethan also spent quiet time together, learning more about each other. Ethan taught the Queen more Earth games. The Queen shared her favorite music and stories. They laughed about the funny things they did not understand and helped each other learn. Sometimes they just sat together in the garden, happy for the peaceful moments. One day the Queen asked Ethan if he missed Earth. Ethan said yes, but he felt like the ship was his home now too. He missed his family, but he was glad to be with the Queen. The Queen told Ethan she felt the same. She had always felt alone as a leader, but now she did not feel lonely with Ethan beside her. There was still tension on the ship. A few leaders did not trust Ethan. They thought a human could never understand their ways. One leader, named Lauren, spoke up at a meeting and said that bringing a human into their world was a mistake. The Queen listened and answered calmly. She said she respected Lauren's view, but believed trust and friendship were the only way forward. Ethan spoke too. He said he was willing to work hard and learn. The other leaders listened. Some changed their minds. Others were not ready yet. One evening, a special meal was held for the crew and leaders. The Queen wanted to show everyone that she and Ethan were united. The hall was full of music and bright lights. Ethan felt nervous, but the Queen encouraged him. At the meal, the Queen raised her glass and spoke about new beginnings. She said that change could be hard, but it could also bring hope. People clapped politely. Some even smiled at Ethan. After the meal, the Queen and Ethan went to the garden to talk. They both felt the weight of the day. The Queen asked Ethan if he was afraid. Ethan said he was nervous, but he believed in her and wanted to try. The Queen said she was proud of him. She said that together they could face anything. A few days later, Ethan joined the Queen at an important ceremony. It was a tradition among her people to honor those who helped the ship and its crew. The Queen gave Ethan a silver pin shaped like a star. She said it was a symbol of trust. The crew clapped, and Ethan felt proud. Life on the ship began to feel more normal. People started to accept that Ethan and the Queen were together. Some crew members invited Ethan to join their games and meals. Others asked him to help with small projects. Ethan felt less like a stranger and more like part of the community. The Queen and Ethan also talked about the future. They wondered what would happen if they visited Earth together. The Queen asked if humans would accept her. Ethan said it would take time, but he believed people would see her kindness. The Queen hoped that one day she could meet Ethan's family. Ethan said he would like that. 2. A message arrived from Earth. The leaders there invited the Queen to join a special meeting by video call. The Queen agreed and asked Ethan to join her. At the meeting, leaders from many countries appeared on the screen. They asked the Queen about her plans. The Queen spoke honestly and said she wanted peace. She told them she trusted Ethan and believed their worlds could work together. After the meeting, the Queen and Ethan talked about what had been said. The Queen felt tired but hopeful. She told Ethan she was glad he was by her side. Ethan said he would always support her. They held hands and watched the stars from the window. As the days passed, things slowly improved. People on the ship and on Earth started to see the good things that came from the Queen and Ethan working together. There were still problems and a few people who did not agree, but most wanted peace. The Queen and Ethan promised each other they would keep working to bring their people together day and night. When the ship was quiet, the Queen and Ethan would walk in the garden or sit by the pool. They talked about simple things and shared their hopes. The Queen said she was no longer afraid of the future as long as Ethan was with her. Ethan smiled and said he felt the same. They watched the stars and dreamed of what could come next, knowing that together they could face anything. Ethan woke early, even though he had stayed up late talking with Queen Valari. He felt happy but tired. Valari had asked him to come to the council chamber that morning. He was nervous but also proud. He had grown more confident in the last days, and he wanted to help. When Ethan arrived, the chamber was full of leaders and advisors. They sat in a circle around a large table. Some looked at him with respect, others still seemed uncertain. Queen Valari stood at the head of the table, her face calm but bright. "Thank you for coming," she said. "We have more news to share." Ethan sat beside her. The advisors watched closely. Then Valari smiled and placed her hand on her stomach. Ethan looked at her, surprised. "I am expecting," the queen said in a soft voice. "I am pregnant." A hush fell over the room. Some people gasped, others stared. Ethan felt his heart race. He reached for Valari's hand and gently held it. One advisor, named Cyril, stood up. He bowed his head and spoke. "This is unexpected, my queen. It is a great honor, but also a great responsibility. A child from both our worlds." His voice trailed off. Valari nodded. "Yes, this child will be the first of its kind. It will be a symbol of unity." She looked at Ethan. "Thank you for this gift." Ethan felt tears in his eyes. He never thought he could bring something so important to the galaxy. "Thank you for sharing this with me," he said. "I will do everything to protect her and our child." A murmur moved around the room. Some leaders whispered to each other. A few advisors looked worried, but most smiled. One woman named Lucky sighed, "My queen, this child will bring hope." "We will protect them," Valari spoke again. "The child will need both our worlds. We must prepare for its arrival. We need to teach humans about our ways and teach my people about Earth." An advisor named Rollo asked, "What about tradition?" "Our people have rules. A royal child must be born under certain stars and in a certain place." Valari nodded. "We will follow our traditions. The child must be born on our home world, under the twin moons, but we must also honor human customs." Ethan spoke up. "On Earth, we celebrate new life with family and friends. We have a ceremony called a baby shower where people give gifts and good wishes. It helps the parents prepare." The advisors looked at one another. Lackey said, "Perhaps we can combine our traditions. A celebration on the ship, then a ceremony." "On Earth," Valari smiled. "Yes, we will plan both. This child will be a link between our worlds." The meeting ended, and people left the chamber, talking with excited voices. Ethan and Valari were left alone. She leaned against him and smiled. He put his arm around her. "I feel happy and scared," Valari said. Ethan kissed her forehead. "We will face it together." They walked through the hall to the garden. The floating flowers looked bright today. Valari stopped by a blue flower and touched it. "This reminds me of our child's eyes," she said. Ethan laughed softly. "I wonder if the child will have my brown eyes or your blue ones," Valari smiled. "Whatever the child looks like, it will have something special, a new future." They spent the day planning. Valari met with her doctors to set a plan for the child's health. Ethan showed her how humans track pregnancies with simple devices that measure the baby's growth. They laughed when Valari saw the pictures of human babies. She said they looked funny but adorable. Meanwhile, on Earth, messages poured in. Some leaders sent gifts for the queen and her child. Flowers, books, and small robots to help with care. Ethan's friends on the outpost sent him a small gift, a stuffed toy shaped like a dog. They wrote a note saying they hoped it would make the queen laugh. The crew on the ship prepared a special room for the child's birth. They decorated it with both human and alien symbols. A soft bed was made next to Valari's, so Ethan could stay close. The advisors practiced the ceremonies they planned to hold. Despite the excitement, not everyone was happy. A small group still whispered that a human and an alien child would be dangerous. They worried about what would happen if things went wrong. They thought the child might be a target. Queen Valari and Ethan knew they had to protect their child. They asked for extra guards and set safety measures. Valari said they would not live in fear, but they must be ready. As the weeks passed, Valari's belly grew. She became quieter sometimes, holding her stomach and smiling. Ethan often found her alone, talking to their child. He watched her with love. He felt proud to be part of this new life. One day, Valari and Ethan held a small ceremony in the garden. It was a celebration of life. Aliens and humans gathered together. They planted a seed in a floating planter. Valari explained that As the seed grew, so would their friendship. Then Ethan spoke a few words about hope and unity. The guests cheered and released small lights into the air. The floating flowers glowed brighter. It was a simple but beautiful moment. That night, Ethan and Valari sat by the dome, watching the stars. Valari leaned on Ethan's shoulder. "Our child will see these stars one day," she said softly. Ethan kissed her gently. "And maybe they will visit Earth and dance in the rain?" Valari looked at him with love. "Yes, they will know both worlds and bring them together." They stayed there until the ship's lights dimmed. They held each other, feeling the future grow inside Valari. The galaxy felt wide and full of possibility. And for the first time, Ethan felt everything was right. The days grew closer to the time when Valari would need to travel to her homeworld. Ethan knew he would go with her. He began to gather items he would need: warm clothes for the moons, gifts from Earth, and simple tools to help with the birth. On the last day before departure, the entire ship gathered to wish them well. Queen Valari stood with Ethan. She spoke words of thanks and hope. She said they would return with a new life and a new path for their people. The ship's shuttle prepared to take them to Valari's homeworld. Ethan held Valari's hand as they stepped inside. She looked at him and smiled. "We are ready," she said. Ethan nodded. Together. As the shuttle left the flagship, both looked out the window at the ship they had called home. They felt nervous but certain. A new chapter awaited them. A chapter of life, hope, and a child who would change everything. And they knew that with love and unity they could face whatever came next. The shuttle descended through the pale blue sky of Queen Valari's homeworld. Ethan held Valari's hand tightly. Her dress swayed with the movement, and her glowing skin caught the light like a jewel. Ethan looked out the window at the twin moons rising above crystal towers far below. He felt a mix of awe and nervousness. They landed on a wide platform near the heart of the city. The air smelled of fresh flowers and ozone. Guards lined the path, standing at attention. People whispered and bowed as the Queen and Ethan walked by. At the end of the path stood the palace, made of white stone that glowed faintly in the sunrise. Inside, Valari's advisors prepared a room for her. It was calm and bright, with soft mats and glowing lanterns. It smelled of warm herbs and honey. Ethan helped Valari settle on a soft seat and held her hand. He felt the baby move gently. "Soon," Valari whispered. Ethan nodded. He looked around at the peaceful faces of her people. Some smiled, others looked solemn. They knew the birth would be a day of both joy and challenge. Valari's chief advisor, Cyril, approached them with a small table of tea and fruit. "This tea will help you rest, my queen," Cyril said. "And Ethan, thank you for all you have done." Ethan bowed his head. "It is my honor." The hours passed slowly. Valari rested while Ethan walked in the palace garden. Strange birds with silver wings flew by, singing soft melodies. Flowers glimmered in the light. Ethan found himself thinking about Earth and his home, but his heart was here now. Late in the afternoon, Valari's chief doctor came to find Ethan. "It is time," she said gently. Ethan hurried inside. Valari was calm, breathing slowly. The doctor guided Ethan to a seat beside her bed. Guards stood outside the door. I whispered, "I am scared." Ethan took her hand. "I am here. You are not alone." The birth was long and quiet. Valari's strength showed as she breathed through each moment. Ethan stayed by her side, holding her hand and speaking softly. The doctors used gentle lights and soft instruments. Outside, the palace was silent, waiting. After many hours, a soft cry filled the room. Valari cried out and tears ran down her face. Ethan's eyes filled with joy. "It is a girl," the doctor announced. Valari smiled, exhausted. Ethan touched the baby's small hand. She was blue like her mother, with small freckles that shone like stars. Valari looked at Ethan and said, "She is perfect." Ethan's heart swelled. "Our daughter?" The baby's cry was soft, but it echoed in their hearts. The doctor wrapped her in a blanket woven from moon silk. Valari held her gently. Outside, the palace bells rang. Word spread quickly. People gathered in the courtyard, waiting for news. After the room's doors opened, Valari appeared on a balcony with baby in arms. Ethan stood by her side. Valari spoke in her language and then in English. People of my world and friends from Earth, I present to you my daughter, Aurea. She is a symbol of hope, unity, and love. Together we will build a future for her and for all. A cheer rose from the crowd. They released glowing lanterns into the sky. The twin moons shone brightly above. Stars of all colors glimmered that night. A celebration began. Aliens and humans shared food from both worlds. Ethan and Valari danced under the stars, holding baby Aurea close. The music was soft and flowing. People joined to dance in circles. Ethan watched the queen move with grace. He felt proud and happy. He whispered to Valari, "She will grow up knowing love and peace." Valari smiled. "Thanks to you." In the days that followed, Aurea grew stronger. Her first smiles warmed everyone's hearts. Ethan learned how to change her small blankets and sing Earth lullabies. Valari taught him songs from her world. Messages arrived from Earth. People sent gifts and well wishes. Some world leaders asked to meet Aurea by video call. Ethan showed the baby the small screen. She gurgled and waved a tiny hand. Viewers on? Earth cheered and smiled. Life settled into a new rhythm. Valari resumed her duties but took time each day to care for Aurea. Ethan served as her partner and father. He attended meetings, spoke for peace, and helped with palace projects. Still, challenges remained. Some on Valari's world feared change. A small group believed Aurea was unnatural and dangerous. They plotted in secret. Valari and Ethan learned of this and took caution. Guards were extra vigilant and new laws protected the family. One night, Ethan heard a noise outside his quarters. He found two figures sneaking near Aurea's nursery. He called the guard and stopped them. The conspirators were arrested quietly. The next morning, Valari addressed her people, condemning those who acted in fear. "How can we claim to love our child if we do not trust others?" she asked. "Fear only leads to darkness. Love and trust bring light." Her words spread across the world. Many who had been unsure found courage to stand with the queen and her daughter. Weeks turned into months. Aurea learned to crawl, then walk. She had Valari's bright eyes and Ethan's curious smile. She laughed when the moonbirds sang and reached for Earth toys. Ethan taught her to say simple words, Earth words like mama, and alien words like father in her language. Valari and Ethan shared hopes for her future. They dreamed she would travel to Earth and learn from many teachers. On Aurea's first birthday, a grand festival was held. Lanterns, music, dancing, and feasts. Aliens and humans worked together to prepare. Ethan and Valari watched Aurea's joy as she played with friends from both worlds. At sunset, Valari raised Aurea above her head. She spoke, "May our daughter always know the power of love. May her life unite our worlds in peace." The crowd cheered. Aurora lights filled the sky. That night, Ethan and Valari sat with Aurea asleep between them. They held hands and looked out at the stars. Ethan said, "We did it." Valari smiled, tears of joy in her eyes. Yes, together. They knew challenges and adventures still lay ahead. But in their hearts, they carried hope, their daughter, a living bridge between two worlds. With love, they could face anything the universe had to offer.